Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 224. Each week we meet here to answer questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+, on the Dumb SEO Questions group on Facebook, and also you can also ask a question on Twitter on Dumb SEO QS. With us tonight, we have Tim Capper. Tim is CEO of OnlineOwnership.com. He is proud to call himself an SEO. He's a conversion rate optimization specialist. And he's based in the UK, about 100 miles north of London. And William Rock is located in Kansas, and he can be found in two places. Is williamrock.com and also beyondroi.com. Okay, Tim is a top contributor on the Google My Business community. William is a rising star on the Google My Business community and also a top contributor in the web search community. All right, so we have 9 questions tonight, some really hard, some really easy. The first one, I'll just tweet that. The first one, I don't think you guys will have a lot of trouble with. Sadaf Naz said in a question titled Image Alt Tag, what should I do about it? Sadaf said, hello, dear members, I would like to know about the image alt tag. What should it be? Please let me know.
Right. So just to give you a little bit of context, and then it'll help you understand how to use it. So in your image, you generally have a title. The title, depending on what version or what CMS or what version of CMS you're using, the title is generally pulled from the file name. So if you called, if it's a picture of a red table labeled, or the file name is red-table JPEG, generally your title will be red-table, or you could just call it red table. Now, the idea behind the alt image tag is for screen readers, for visually impaired people, to give them, obviously it will tell them what the image is. So if they're looking at it, they're visually impaired and they're seeing kind of like a blurred image of it, the screen reader will tell them what it is based upon your alt image tag. So essentially, your alt image tag is, you've got your title, red table. Now your alt image tag would be a more descriptive version. So it could be red table in garden, or red table in garden with, 4 chairs, or red table used in garden furniture with for drinks, or describe the image accurately and in normal language. Don't think of this as like a keyword place, because of course that's not going to make sense to a screen reader. Don't try and stuff keywords into it. Describe the image. The other benefit of describing the image in actual normal language is for image search, so Google Images. If you actually describe the image properly, people search normally. People talk. They don't type red chair, glasses, red square. They don't type like that. They don't search like that. So you'll keep. You shouldn't be describing it like that. And in image search, you can actually generate a lot of traffic from. And also, for some certain queries, Google will provide a little bit of organic search, and then you've probably seen it before where it says images related to, and then it gives you 3 or 4 images actually in the organic search results. Well, a lot of that is also pulled based upon your description of the image and how Google understands how you've described that image relating to the search query, and you may even gain some real estate by putting your, getting your image in there. So accurate, your alt image tag is to describe the image a little bit more broadly and accurately than just your title of that image would be.
Well said. I was just going to add that, basically going back to don't stuff it with the keywords, going back to what you were saying with making sure that it actually visually is appealing for the to the screen readers. The other thing I would probably add would be the beauty of alt tags when you were talking about the image search is also if you have your own image that you're working with, so you took that photo, that also has a little bit of play when you're titling that alt tag to get into that image search a little bit easier because you own that image versus maybe a stock photography piece or something you grabbed off the web.
Thank you, William. Okay, let's wrap that one, and we will move on to the next. I think I've tweeted that already. Yes, I have. Okay. This one, Niraj Pandey, who's asked a number of questions of us, in a question titled "Blocked by Robots Notification." Niraj said, "Hi, I saw today some unexpected behavior. I blocked all of the bots with the robots text file and selected the HTML meta. I pasted that in the head section and clicked for verification in the Google Search Console. Google verified, so does that mean that Google will crawl the page despite blocking by robots text? I was expecting the message. I was expecting a message like a notification that my website has been blocked by robots text and that it should be allowed."
One, I'm wondering why he's trying to block all robots TXT. I mean, why is he blocking every one of the bots? My first question. Meta refresh probably would be or meta. I don't know, Tim. What do you think? I was looking for.
I don't know if he's done this as an experiment or.
That's what I'm thinking.
Quite honestly, if you're doing the experiment, you could probably give us a better idea.
Or can you give us maybe in the future a URL that we can take a look at what he's put in the robots TXT and then also in the meta?
Yeah, I'm guessing, I should say, that he's experimenting, but the answer that I'd give would be that the bot that Google uses to fetch and render your page in the Google Search Console is not necessarily Googlebot. Googlebot respects robots text, but fetch and render, I suppose, by design, wouldn't check to see. It would take it as a given since you were requesting that particular URL and you own that URL. That you're happy.
Actually, but when you do a fetch and render, if you actually click, so you do the fetch and render, and then it gives you like the URL you requested, and then it tells you if it was successful and to submit. But if you click on that little URL, it opens it up. Screen which shows you the fetch and render, what Googlebot was able to crawl, and then it gives you what a web would see,
like a browser.
web user would see. Yeah, And if you scroll down past that, it will then highlight issues. So, for example, if you've blocked it with robots.txt and that is being respected, it will then say there also, it'll give you like a big frickin' little warning thing saying, you know, this has been blocked by it. So it actually fetches it, it displays it to you, but then it will give you a big fat warning. So yeah, I think you're onto something there, Jim. I think, yeah.
Yeah, no problem, mate. All right, let's wrap this up and move to the next. All right, Arithmal TP wonders if Googlebot considers the URL's IP address during crawling. This one was answered very well by Federico Sasso. It's not showing in the panelists. We had a software issue today, so it's not there. But Federico did give a great answer, I thought. Anyway, Arithmal TP said, "Hi, does Googlebot consider the IP address during the crawling time? For example, I am changing my domain IP address due to a server issue. After that, if I try to check the fetching process, any issues affected in the crawling time? Thanks and regards." Look, I'll jump in and if I can and just give my 2 cents. Googlebot is a blind robot. It doesn't. When it seeks a URL, it uses DNS to find the URL, and that's where the IP address comes in. DNS is what matches IP addresses to the site. So if you are changing your domain IP address due to a server issue, it might be that the DNS at the data center that Googlebot is crawling from may well have a cached record which hasn't yet expired, which means that Googlebot may well go to the other, but it'll all balance out. And but yes, you don't have to consider what the IP address is, but you should be aware that cached DNS records need to expire before the new server is called by anybody using DNS, not just Googlebot. Does that sound like a fair enough answer?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and move to the next. It's this one, Pablo Cano, a problem with faceted navigation. He says, actually, this is not much good to us because what's the question? He gives 3 URLs which can be seen on the SEO Questions community on Google+, but he hasn't asked a question here. Am I reading that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll pass on this one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. Neil Cheeseman asks on question 5, research on titles and internal linking for best SEO. Has anyone done any research on where exactly to place keywords in titles and H1s and whether to do exact match for internal linking, i.e. as Wikipedia, etc., i.e. a 3-word key phrase, green widget toggles, And the titles, green widget titles by green widget titles, little and large green widget toggles, assuming wanting to sell green widget toggles. Let's swap green widget toggles for pink fluffy elephants. Language that we all know. What can we tell Neil, guys?
So personally, I haven't done any research on it. I'm assuming someone out there must have done some research on it. Generally, obviously, if it's in my H1, where I have not seen a massive difference if my main sort of keyword or key phrase, pink fluffy elephants, is either at the beginning of my H1, in the middle of it, or at the end of it. I would say that if it's at the end of it, and it's the end in my actual meta title, I don't always expect it to appear as highly as if it was at the beginning of the title in the H1, or kind of in the middle. Now, whether or not that just seems to be by coincidence, I'm not entirely sure. I've never actually just done any digging on it in that sense. And when I say not as high, I'm only talking a position or two here. But ordinarily, if my it depends also where you're talking about. If this was a product, and it was called my H1 on the product page was pink fluffy elephants, it's going to be at the very beginning of the meta title, which would be pink fluffy elephants hyphen range of sizes available, or whatever the case may be, and then my brand name would be in the beginning of it. If it was, well, I can't actually think where you would have a lot in between and it at the actual end. If it's a kind of a service page, it would also start with that, and then obviously if you're local, then it would have your localized area and then the brand. The only time I would say it would be at the end is if it was an actual article, because then it may not make complete sense to have it in the beginning or the middle, and it obviously reads better at the end of the article's title. So for me as a product, it would be in the front anyway. But no, I haven't done any research on it as that sense. I guess it's where and how you're using it, which would dictate it naturally being where it is. Now, what did you also say? Something internal linking. So internal linking. Internal linking. Normally would be within the site. If I had it as somewhere on a page and I wanted to link through to my product or to an article about it or to a service page, and obviously I had the entire thing in there, I would it would be pink fluffy elephant. I generally wouldn't go over the top in terms of, let's say there was an article and we had just mentioned, I don't know, let's say, for example, there was a color chart and it was just a color chart about products and there was pink. Now, if you had other pink it wouldn't make sense to just link to that page from the word pink, for example. You know, you need to use kind of common sense. But, you know, it's going to be a little bit weird if you're only linking from pink fluffy elephants all the time. It may look unnatural trying to squeeze that into different pages and things like this. You know, in terms of internal linking, it's where it makes sense. If it was in a quick link in the footer, yeah, I would just call it the actual full name, the pink fluffy elephants. But if it's from other article pages, it's kind of where it makes natural sense to. If the reader would look at that and go, actually, yeah, I want to know what this pink is, or if I click on that pink and it takes me to the pink fluffy elephant page, depending on what else is on there, is that going to make sense to me? Or am I just kind of like, I saw the word pink and I'm going to link to it? So, you know, just use common sense in it.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely overdo it as well. You know, when we're talking about keywords and being able to do what's the proper variation, keywords, length, and stuff like that, goes back to that user experience, like you were saying. If I'm going to be reading an article and I'm looking at the article and I find a definition that I'm looking for, like, oh, what does that mean? And it has a link to that definition page of the article or something I'm wanting to read further on, then yes, it makes sense too. But otherwise, it's just keyword stuffing. And that could get picked up by, you know, an algorithm and bring down a little bit of your rank. So it's defeating the SEO purpose. But going back to what Tim was saying, you know, user experience, what is it doing? Is it valuable to that pink fluffy elephant article, or is it just basically going to take them to a purple elephant?
Yep, fair enough. The only bit I could contribute was that things like buy pink fluffy elephants are not needed. Googlebot will infer from other signals on your site, such as a shopping cart, whether that people can buy the green widget toggles on your site. For argument's sake, having a price is a fair indication. Little and large green widget toggles may be your total stock, but most times people are searching for either little or large. So you probably won't get much value of putting both, because, you know, every word that's there lessens the impact of what you're doing, and it relates for internal linking. It relates to the user experience. It's about making that the best page it can possibly be, and not worry about how you're doing it. If it's right for the user, it's generally right for Googlebot. How am I doing? Sound all right? Okay, let's go. Bill Hartzer said Google thinks that I posted 9 hours ago. He said, okay, WordPress SEO gurus. Straight away you've got to understand that, or straight away you can see that Bill Hartzer knows what he's talking about. You know, gurus. He said, try to figure this one out. It's been bugging me for at least a year now. Whenever I post, Google thinks that I posted 9 hours ago, even if it's within minutes. See the screen capture below. I already checked the server header date, WordPress publish date, and WordPress settings, all set up for Central Standard Time. Now, because we had to do these manually today, I had a software glitch. The community answers aren't included on our page, but I'm sure we had some a good definitive answer and an outcome from Bill. Did anyone see that? Okay, can you guys see that?
Yeah, there was a lot of comments in there from just a lot of fantastic people in there. I didn't get a chance to read to the end of it, but I was involved in that for a little bit. Webidoo was saying, I think it might be a WordPress bug. And let's see if it goes any further.
No, I think somebody found the cause. Let me have a look. Is it on Facebook or?
It's right here. I'll send you the link.
Tell you what, one thing I'm seeing is that Facebook, there's so much more engagement on our questions on Facebook. Do you guys see the same as me, or
I have been seeing a lot more notifications coming from engagement comments and stuff like that on Facebook. Yeah. Doesn't look like it was resolved. Neil was the last one to comment on that.
Okay. Well, Neil, I'm sorry, mate, but we don't have an answer for you. I'm going to have another look at that and see if I can find anything. Let's move on from that. Question from Lauren Noble. Is there a way to test my blog post to make sure that the keywords I'm trying to rank for is working?
I would say go back into Google Search Console, and you'll definitely see if there's keywords going to the actual pages itself in your blog posts. And that's one signal that'll actually say that, yeah, Google's picking up the keywords inquiries and sending traffic to those pages. Then I would then go take it into Google Analytics and start to go further from that for where they landed, where did they go, did they bounce, and just looking at the experience versus what just you rank for.
Yeah, Search Console will tell you exactly, if Google's, take that keyword, chuck it in, because you can filter, chuck that keyword in, and then you can use obviously URLs, and you can see if is that URL included in that? Does kind of Google see that keyword in that URL? You may have quite a few URLs for the same kind of keyword. It also depends on the rest of the search query. So Google might take one for a particular search query and chuck that up. And then if somebody's asking a longer one or a longer tail version, it might actually find that your blog post is more suitable for that query. But yeah, so Search Console will certainly tell you if Google is equating that keyword to that URL.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Let me tweet that, and let's move on to the next. Cool. Here's one from Chase Rayner. It's titled "Submit My Sitemap, then fetch and crawl all links." He said, "What will happen if I submit my sitemap to Search Console, Google Search Console, and then fetch and crawl all links? Will Google crawl all links on the sitemap?"
Well, once you submit the sitemap to Google, it's automatically going to start going out and looking at those pages and seeing if it can crawl them, or if they can't, it's going to give you an error in the dashboard. So making sure that your sitemap is properly put together with all the URLs you want in there and don't want in there. You know, as far as going and fetch and rendering, you don't necessarily need to do that to every single page. In fact, I'll probably do fetch and render once, but once you submit that sitemap, it's automatic. The crawler is going to go out and deploy and start putting it into the queue and figuring out what you have. And then you can go back and check. Normally I try to check in 24 hours, so I'll just go check to see if there's errors, you know, and then go back and correct the errors. And most of the time it's flawless.
Yeah. Happy with that, Tim?
With your fetch and render, you have two options. You can either just crawl that individual page, or you can crawl that page and its immediate links. The thing is, with your fetch and render, I think you can only submit 10 in a day. So if you've got a 100-page site, you know, by the time you've waited 10 days and done 10 per day, it would have sorted out your sitemap anyway.
Correct.
You know, the thing is, what you would use the two for, and this is what kind of significantly changed a page that was in my sitemap. So same URL, it's in my sitemap, that's already indexed. If I've significantly changed a page where there was an update to something on it, and the information on there is significantly changed, and I want Googlebot to recrawl that and re-index with a new content fairly quickly, usually within about 12 hours, then I'll do a fetch and render on that page. But you know, your sitemap will work its way through, and like fetch and render, you've only got 10 per day. You know, if it's 100, you know, it's going to take you 10 days, which by that time sitemap would already have done its job. So yeah, you know, that's the way I kind of use fetch and render. If I've significantly changed a page and I need it, you know, I need, you know, I want that new content, that new info updated fairly quickly without waiting for Googlebot to come and revisit that page, then fetch and render on that.
Okay. Well, it's cool that an answer for Chase Rayner, and let's move on to the next. This one from Christina McConnell on SEO for a one-page site. If you have a basic one-page scrolling site that is really just to list your services, such as a hair salon, can you still implement local SEO and rank for certain keywords? If anyone would mind taking a quick glance, your feedback would be appreciated. And it's www.hairgurusalon.com. Also, Christina goes on to ask, is there any info on where I can find information on ranking locally? It would be appreciated. And I know Tim Capper is a shy bloke and he won't say, but onlineownership.com is probably a good place to start.
So I've already, so it's with a double S. I was looking at the single S, or no, yeah, I was looking at the single S, and I got a for sale, a domain for sale. Huh. Guru. Yeah, okay, so even if it's a one-page site, yeah, I absolutely dislike these because for any user, they just don't know. Like I want to go down and it keeps scrolling up. I want to go up and it decides to scroll down.
Yeah, I'm getting the same thing, and then I'm looking over at the top right navigation system. I mean, it's cute how it flies out, but then not everybody kind of knows to go up there just to find something. That might be a user experience issue, maybe, but.
Okay, so Okay, so right in local, so you're called hair gurus, and then you've got in your title, our main focus is healthy hair. Right, so for a local, you know, that's great. For a local, I would actually be including your area into that. So it would be Kansas City. Where's MO? What state's that? MO.
That's Missouri.
Okay, so you know, hair gurus, and I would try and shorten your title, so something like focusing on healthy hair or creating healthy hair in Kansas City, you know, MO. Could appear locally, and we know we need to reinforce that. On your contact section, you've got an embedded map. I would be connecting the embedded map from your actual business page and not just a random embed of the area. Structured data markup for obviously hairdresser, that needs to go in onto your contact details.
Yeah, I don't see any metadata or structured data on there yet. Well, that would help.
No. You could certainly do that. So connect obviously your map, your actual map from your business page, sorting out your title. In fact, I've got an article on my site. I don't know what can't remember what the title is. I think it's top 20 local. So top 20 search ranking factors for local SEO. If you just whack that in, just search for top 20 local search ranking factors for local SEO, and that will break it down. So your title, embedding your actual your actual map, your local structured data. I can find very little content on your site. I know it's single page.
Yeah, I'll put this in the chat or in the comments. Tim, this is your article you did on ranking factors for Google My Business. No, that one has a lot of information on that, doesn't it? For JSON LD.
But in all honesty, you want your town and county in your title. You want your map obviously properly embedded. You want your local structured data markup over your your business information. Your business. And to be honest with you, see, I'm looking in your source, and there is so much stuff because of this parallax that I can't even find any content. So I would make sure.
Looks like it was done by Visual Composer. It's a drag and drop. It's actually a WordPress site, Tim. So
yeah,
drag and drop builder.
So I would change little things, like when you say hair services, I would call that like hair care services or something. I don't know what you would call than our services, because we've just got such a limited amount of content here. Barber service page is fine, obviously. Natural services. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Try our weekly specials. Okay, so yeah, that's about all you can really do on that. The other thing for you to do would be to look at some local business citations in Missouri itself. You know, and just to get yourself listed in your local Yelp, Yell. If there's any local Kansas City specific business directories or guides, ask, you know, get yourself listed in there. Things like that. And yeah, apart from that, that is probably all you could do with this site.
And I was trying to copy and paste even like the telephone number and toss it into Maps. I couldn't even copy and paste.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that basically I think the crawler is going to say is there's nothing there.
Yeah. Hang on, let's do a cache.
Because the other thing I wanted to look to see is if they actually verified their Google My Business listing.
Oh, yeah, you do have a slight issue. Yeah, I've just checked out your cached version of the page. And the text-only version, and literally it's showing nothing. So I would certainly check with your search console, you know, see if see if Google's actually finding anything on your can actually read anything on your site. Yeah, so whoever built this for you, I would ask, connected this to Google Analytics.
Good thing.
Make sure it's connected to Google Search Console, and do a fetch and render on this, because I don't think this site is actually.
I'll tell you what might give them a shock is the links web browser, Googlebot searches, and what Googlebot sees on a site it can be emulated by looking at it via the links, LYNX web browser. If you do a search for that on Google, you'll find a number of options. You might even find a couple of sites where you don't have to actually set up the links browser on your machine. You can, for argument's sake, add a file for Delori.com. This site hasn't been updated for about 12 years on Delori.com, but it's still a useful little tool, I think, to have a look at the way that Googlebot looks at your page, because it really hasn't changed. I see that Guide has joined us. Hello, Rob.
And Tim, I did actually find that they typed in the address, and they look like they have a verified business listing, so that's good to see.
William Rock, are you at home or at work?
I'm at home.
Ah, I see you've got company.
Oh, yeah, he decided to join the program.
Yeah.
Say hi. He got a haircut, so he's cold.
His haircut looks better than Tim's.
That's all I pretty much have on that one. I think that we covered a lot on the website. It's obviously a WordPress website, so I'm wondering, if there's a reason for having that theme and maybe going to a better theme. to give a little bit more user experience, and also at the same time, it'll bring all those elements back to being visual. You really need to have the address where you can copy and paste it easy, like the map embedded with from your Google My Business. Lots of different things, but I think we covered quite a bit on that for now. What do you guys think? What do you think, God? We got to get you a new camera.
Get me one. You think I need a new camera? Okay. All right. Well, look, Christina, to sum up, yes, you can rank depending on how competitive the keyword is, but you can find yourself listed for keywords using a one-page scrolling page, but your particular page may not be as effective. The photography is just brilliant. It's superb. But Googlebot unfortunately can't see an image. Googlebot can only read text. And I recommend you try looking at in a web browser sorry, the links web browser, to see how much information Googlebot can get from your page. You know, I'd suggest is rather than break, just bash your head against the wall trying to correct this issue, why not just post it on a site like Fiverr.com, Fiverr. I don't normally promote Fiverr, but this seems like a perfect solution. And you'll probably find somebody who'll make that, rewrite your site with the same content, and do a better job. No, they probably won't. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's hard to tell. I mean, there's a lot of good technicians or designers out there, programmers in Fiverr, but I've never actually hired out there. But I think, the other thing, to see those keywords, you were right, spot on with everything else, Jim. I think I don't use Fiverr, but one of the things I would probably definitely do, if they haven't already, I think we talked about this, but definitely go into the Google Search Console, make sure that's set up, make sure your analytics is set up. Let's see what Googlebot is finding. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've got a feeling when we click this, it'll be that time again, but I'm going to click it anyway. And yes, it's true. Thank you for watching this video through to the end. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this